Hi, friends. Welcome back to Mermaid Bay Tarot. This is going to be a different type of video. We had a very senseless tragedy yesterday in Uvalde, Texas Elementary School. A mass shooting occurred. So things I may be talking about might be triggering, offensive, or just not something people might want to watch or listen. But my insights and my thoughts on why these things are happening, why they're occurring more, and what's really behind it astrologically. And first of all, I just want to say my deepest condolences and prayers and hearts go out to every single family member in Uvalde. Our hearts and prayers are with everybody right now. It is a tragedy we haven't seen of this size here at all. And it's not our town, but I live here in Texas, and it is touching the hearts of everyone here very deeply. These are topics I don't usually touch or talk about on my other homesteady YouTube channel about them here, and I don't really talk about them on social media. But I feel like we need to talk. I feel like we need to talk about what's happening and why. And some people want to know why, and some people maybe they don't really want to know why if they knew why. So here's where we are today. Reactive attachment disorder. My daughter suffers from this. It's something you can Google and look up. Basically, something happens to children in their brains. It physically happens. Their brains are developing when they're little. From at the age like 1 to 5, the brain is developing. And if there's a tragedy, the children's needs were not met, they weren't fed properly, there was inconsistencies, they were for the child, their brains develop differently. And it turns into what is something is called as reactive attachment disorder, or RAD. They later get diagnosed with other psychological issues later. So what happens is, and this is what I was personally told by experts, and that their brains do not develop a conscience. Their brains do not develop empathy. They don't know how to feel because their brains don't develop that area to learn to know how to feel. And so everything that they do is mimic. They learn things to mimic. So if they cry or if it looks like they have feelings for things, they're mimicking other people. That's what they've now learned to do. Well, a lot of children through the foster system, and my daughter was not in the foster care system. There was something that happened between her father and I. I won't go into that, but that's what caused her situation. Adopt children, they think that they have the hopes and dreams of taking in these children, caring for them, and helping them, and they live in a nightmare. There's several online support groups if you're looking for them on Facebook under Reactive Attachment Disorder, Living Life After RAD, and several other groups. If you need help or assistance, and just having people understand what you're going through, please seek out these groups. They're very helpful. My husband and I like to follow true crime. I've stopped following it because it's just overwhelming too much. As an empath and someone who has the gift of foresight and different things, everything has just become too much in the world for me lately. And I say that because it's extremely difficult to deal with these topics. It's extremely difficult to think that evil exists in the world, and it does. And why does it exist? Because evil born into this world. I don't believe that any person was born bad or evil. My truest core, I don't believe that that's true. I believe that evil exists because it's allowed to and because it's created. Because these developments didn't happen in their brain, these people tend to think doing a lot of violent things all the time. And it really comes down to an opportunity. So what can we do to make these opportunities not available to people who think about things like this? And when you look at people's natal charts astrologically, we have all, and I'm not an expert in astrology, It's just someone who's gotten into it, looked a lot into it to make sense, to find out kind of the secrets of the universe and what's going on with everything and everyone. And you have your sun sign, which is kind of like truly understand who you actually get to know somebody, which is your moon sign, is kind of how you really are and reflective of how you feel. And when you look at people's natal charts and you look at their signs in Mars, Mars is all about war and conflict and violence and rage and things like that. And certain signs do tend more towards in that area. So if, depending on what their sun and moon sign is, their Mars sign might be somebody's a lot more aggressive and intolerant and quick to temper and things like that. When you look at people's signs, this is how they love. This is how they love people. This is how they show their love. This is how they care about others in the world. And that can also affect a person and how they respond and react to people. That they're, Venus in Capricorn could be somebody who just is very disconnected from people in general. And I'm just throwing that out there from experience, knowing people. If someone knows more about astrology and would like to comment below about some of the thoughts and opinions I have about the things that we've looked up, looked into, and noticed, I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm not singling any one sign out because my husband is a Capricorn moon. I'm a Scorpio moon. So anywho, we looked into the natal charts of many people and many people who have committed crimes, who which is now not on TV anymore, Netflix, and I believe that was because they were giving out too much information to people, and people were really starting to figure it out. So yeah, where I'm going with all of this, the sign in Mars, your sign in Venus, your sun sign, your moon sign, you know, has a lot to do with how people react and respond to others and interact in this world. And so when you take all of that into account, and somebody might have a little bit more of, if they have the signs where they're just a little bit more disconnected or a little bit more quick to anger, and then you throw in that they had a tragedy happen in their childhood, or their needs weren't met and their brains didn't develop properly, and so they think very differently. And this is why we can't grasp a lot of this, is because we're like, why would anybody do that? Why would anybody think like that? It's really hard to grasp that when you don't think that way, and you start to realize, wow, this is what some people think about all day long, 24/7. And so I feel like we need better laws for our guns and things like that. And I feel like we need better protection in our schools. Our children should not be going to school fearful that they're going to be shot at ever. Like, this should not even exist right now. This should not even be happening at all anywhere. None of it should be happening. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And I don't know what the solution is, other than that, I don't want to get on the topic of a Second Amendment, but I'm to anyway. So I feel like we should have the right to protect our homes, protect our families. I feel like people should have the right to go hunting and feed their families, especially in times that are happening right now. People need the ability to hunt and feed their families. But for everyone to just have the right to just be able to go out and buy any gun that they want, carry it without any type of training, knowledge, discernment, mental health check status to make sure that they're in their right mind when they purchase these weapons, not be allowed to be like the Old West, to be running around, that whenever anyone feels like they just want to, do away with somebody, that they just shoot them. Or people that think about, wanting to hurt people, and then they finally have the opportunity. Woohoo, I've just turned 18. I'm going to go run out and buy me some guns and go shoot up everyone that I've been thinking of hurting and find an easy target like our school system. It's wrong. It's wrong on so many levels. It's evil. It's hurtful. And we should have the foresight to do something about it ahead of time, to make it not be an opportunity, an easy target for people who are not right in the head. And, you know, I feel honestly that there's no amount of mental health that can correct what is going on with some people. You know, some people need counseling, some people need medications, and that helps them with what's going on in, you know, what they're dealing with. But some of these people, and there's more of them, will never be right in the head because that's how their brains were formed. Not at birth, but through tragedies that happened in their childhood or inconsistencies or not getting the love or not getting fed properly or just not having their needs met. And there's documentaries out there if you want to go check it out. They're all over YouTube about how mothers are disconnected from these and different things that the government has done for years to see what's going on. This is a rabbit hole that I didn't want to maybe go down, fell down, went into, and I'm I'm without words. I'm without words. All I have is prayers, hope, and that people come together with some common sense to put some better laws in place to protect the people that we love. If anyone has any information that they want to add to mass shootings and things like that, you have some other information than what I have come to feel I know is what what I know in my heart. Um, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it astrologically, how the different signs and different placements might affect somebody. Um, this is not going to be, you know, an open forum for people to just spout hate about the Second Amendment or spout hate about this. About if there's any of that, I will delete those comments. But I am open to hearing real conversation about astrological sign placements and what your thoughts are for these kinds of events and the people that are doing these types of crimes and hurtful things to our families, our loved ones, and our society needs to stop. And I don't know what we can do to fix it at this point. I feel like we're going to have that tower moment, and it's been coming for a long time where everything will collapse and then be rebuilt. But what does that look like? I don't even want to tell you. I don't want to tell you what I've seen my whole life. I don't. I can barely handle it myself. So I try to be the light. I try to be kindness and love in our world, and I try to keep and hold people in my prayers. And I pray and hope for a better future. I really do. And I'm sending lots of blessings to everyone who's struggling with what is going on in the world today. There's so much happening so quickly every day. We're just being bombarded by so much negativity, so much conflict, so much war, so much heartbreak, so much hate, and it needs to stop. When will we say enough is enough and we can put into place guidelines and things like that? And what will that all look like? I wish people would just be kind to each other in this world.